at the choppers or the aircrafts, you know, in the forces or used by the defense forces. Yeah. So that's the story that is on the Standard.
Very good. And Mike?
Well, on the Star we have Weta plots to edge out Mudavadi as Luya, quote unquote, king. That is what is carried on the front page of the Star. Those are just politics.
Yeah.
So you can take a look at your favorite paper, take a look, buy, and read for yourself. All right, Vivian and Mike, today you have an in-depth interview to do with mental health. That is something we've discussed on this set over and over again, but it's never enough to talk about mental health. It's said that everybody suffers from something until you ask them what they're suffering from. So we should never assume that even us, we're okay. We need to be talking to each other.
Exactly. Very true. Yeah. And you know, it's the norm, you know, and it's very cliche. When you're told, when someone greets you, you know, how are you? Yes. We are always, we are used to just saying, I'm fine.
Niko sawa.
Niko sawa. Yeah. I'm okay. Not too bad. Yeah. You know, and it's so cliche that we don't really care to look in depth and try to just ask someone, really, just how are you? How is your heart? I love asking that. How is your heart? So that we get to understand how the person is feeling. And mental health is truly something that should be looked into, you know, across all angles and across all professions and whatnot. But today we are actually looking at mental health awareness, specifically in the disciplined forces.
Exactly.
And I feel like it is about time we get to talk about it, because I am sure that you've been seeing in the news, you know, time and again about maybe an officer who's committed suicide, about maybe an officer who's shot the other colleague, and so on and so forth. So it is about time for us to just have them on the table, and today's table is quite huge.
Extensive, huge, and
you know, like literally, you know. Yeah. And just to get to understand them and get to hear from them. And if I may just go through some of the officers that will be with us today. We'll start with Dr. Vincent Makoha, who is the Director, Chaplain Counseling and Psychosocial Support at NPS. We'll have Immaculate Muthui. Immaculate Muthui is an Employee Wellness Manager at KWS. We also have Dr. Josephine Wanza, OGW. He's a commissioner, who is a commissioner of prisons, Kenya, who is the Commissioner of Prisons, Kenya Prison Service Consultant, Psychiatrist. We have SP Peter Mboi, who is a mental health champion, NYS. We have Amos Olodapash, and he is the Chief Chaplain Assistant Commandant, Kenya Forest Service. And last but not least, we will be having Emuria Brandad Lorua, who is a chaplain, KWS. So as you can just tell from all those names that I've read, it's going to be a really, really, you know, extensive conversation. Indeed. And I'll be doing that with Mike. Yeah. Mike, what do you feel about this whole situation of mental health?
It's time we talked about these issues, because especially when it comes to the disciplined forces, they deal with a lot. There's a lot of expectations from them. But then again, their work is not easy. They are charged with a lot of things, and among them even enforcing the law. But then again, their mental capacity matters when it comes to dispensing their duties. So today we are dedicating that time to talk about mental health awareness amongst police officers and other officers from the disciplined forces. That is a conversation that will be coming to you immediately after the news. That is starting at 7 a.m. And remember, you can be part of this conversation. Our lines will be open when the right time comes. So I invite you to tune into this live broadcast. Marie.
A very good morning to you, Mike, Vivian, and Victor, and of course to all of you joining us from across the country. My name is Marie Yambo, and Victor, my colleagues, just as you've already said, mental health issues are quite serious, especially at this point, because I think as life moves on, people are dealing with so much, but there is no health, as they say, without mental health. So it doesn't really matter how well you are, but as long as your mental health is not okay, then we cannot really say that you're okay. and none of us is 100%. If you were to be asked, like Victor, you've already said, we would actually find out that there's something somewhere. I think for me the biggest challenge, Vivian, when it comes to mental health issues is acceptance. That one is a very big issue. Nobody will really accept that they're having an issue, because we kind of link mental health, mtu ni mwenda wazimu, really. That's what we say, there's stigma around it. But the biggest challenge, I think, is when the person suffering doesn't even know. Sometimes it's not even that they're in denial. Sometimes they just do not know the symptoms, and they don't understand that they're actually unwell. And so if you're sick and you don't understand that you're sick, then how do you seek that help? So it will be an interesting conversation that you can join in just to learn one or two in as far as mental health is concerned. And let's be our brother's keepers. Sometimes we might just miss what other people are going through. And so in the news this morning, I'll be bringing you news as far as politics is concerned, business and sports, and particularly we'll be beginning with our news where, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, arrested Kimani Wamatangi, that is the Kiambu governor, on corruption allegations, and also the legislators, the MPs, are complaining about the late disbursement of CDF money. I'll bring you details on that. But I have a question for my colleagues, Victor, Vivian, and Mike. How long would it take you to eat 25 chapatis? Because somebody was crowned as the king of,
eating chapatis.
Yeah, eating
How long
chapatis.
does it?
How long
would it take you to eat about 25 chapatis?
How long would it take me to eat 25 chapatis?
Yes. How fast can you eat 25 chapatis for
I
you to be crowned the king
25
of?
chapatis in one sitting, clearly. So that would take me around several weeks.
Several weeks.
25. Can you imagine 25?
No. We can
I'm telling you, someone was actually crowned. Yeah. So someone was actually crowned
25
as the
chapatis,
king.
that's an entire 2 kg packet?
Yes. Yeah. So just stay tuned. You'll be able to see that someone was actually crowned as the king of chapatis. I'll be bringing you details of that in just a moment. But let's begin with our first story now, where the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, the EACC, on Tuesday carried out a dramatic sting operation targeting the residence and offices of Kiambu Governor, that is Kimani Wamatangi, and 8 other senior county officials. The operation follows allegations of irregular and fictitious procurement that reportedly costed Kiambu residents over 1.5 billion shillings. During the raid, officers were forced to, use tear gas to disperse crowd that attempted to block the governor's arrest. Governor Wamatangi and the implicated officials were later taken to the EACC headquarters at Integrity Center in Nairobi and recorded statements and were released pending arraignment. Our reporter, that is Abdiaziz Hashim, has the details of that.
Tuesday morning in Kiambu County. Residents and county staff woke up to shocking scenes. Kiambu Governor Kimani Wamatangi and 8 senior county officials were arrested in a joint operation by EACC detectives. The 9 are facing allegations of irregular and fictitious procurement in a scandal that saw the county lose at least 1.5 billion shillings. Detectives believe this is one of the safes used to store proceeds of the illegal dealings inside the governor's mansion. Over 12 million shillings and $13,000 were recovered during the raid. Moments later, a crowd of supporters gathered outside attempting to block the governor's arrest. Police fired tear gas canisters to disperse the crowd and clear a path for the governor's motorcade to Nairobi. At the EACC headquarters, protesters continued to demand his release as he was escorted in for questioning.
From the look of it, there are a lot of problems at the county government.
EACC CEO Abdi Mohamud confirmed that the probe centers around a contract awarded for the supply, delivery, installation, testing, training and commissioning of an enterprise resource planning ERP system. The 230 million shilling tender was awarded to MS Filtronic International Limited in the financial year 2022-2023.
To ensure that we investigate and recover assets from all public officers within the counties that are stealing money from the county governments. And you will be seeing, you have already seen actions that we've taken in the recent past. You will see actions today, and going forward, you will be seeing us charging people and also recovering assets that they have stolen. We will not allow people to keep assets they have stolen from the public, for their own use.
Governor Wamatangi has denied all charges leveled against him.
Ya ukweli gavana wetu amefanyia Kiambu kazi.
It's very unfair because governor ameshughulikia watu wote wa Kiambu.
He and other officials were released and are expected to be arraigned in court. EACC CEO Abdi Mohamud has sounded an alarm in the 47 devolved unit, with more governors also being in the radar of the anti-graft body.
And the Committee on Appointment has approved the nomination of Geoffrey Kiringa Ruku and Hannah Wendot Cheptumo for appointment as Cabinet Secretary for Public Service and Gender, respectively. In its report approving the suitability, the committee, chaired by Speaker Moses Wetangula, said that the two had demonstrated a strong grasp of topical, administrative and technical matters related to their dockets. The report, which was tabled on Tuesday, is set for debate today, allowing lawmakers to express their views before a final vote is taken. Meanwhile, the Committee on Information, Communication and Innovation has approved with reservations the nomination of Stephen Isaboke as the Principal Secretary for Broadcasting. The committee wants Isaboke reassigned, citing a conflict of interest.
House approves the appointment of the following persons as Cabinet Secretaries. 1, the Honorable Geoffrey Kirenga Roko as a Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Public Service, Human Capital Development and Special Programs. And 2, Mrs. Hannah Wendot Cheptumo as a Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Gender, Culture, the Arts and Heritage. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
And President William Ruto has strongly defended the Social Health Authority, urging Kenyans to ignore what he calls propaganda and embrace the new universal health care program. Speaking at the funeral of former Cabinet Minister John Koech in Olbutoyo, Chepalungu Constituency, Bomet, that is in Bomet County, the President highlighted the significant progress made since the rollout of the new medical scheme. President William Ruto revealed that over 21 million Kenyans have already registered for the Social Health Authority, with 47,000 registering on Monday alone.
By registering, you are helping us to assemble the data that will help our government, national and county, to deliver on our constitutional mandate of health.
He assured that the new scheme provides enhanced medical coverage, including free treatment at dispensaries, health centers, and sub-county hospitals.
SHA ndio itahakikisha kila mmoja wetu atafikiwa na usaidizi wa mambo ya matibabu.
President Ruto also addressed concerns about medical supplies, announcing an additional 10 billion shillings for KEMSA to ensure direct delivery to health facilities.
KEMSA tumewaongezea pesa karibu shilingi bilioni 10. Tuhakikishe ya kwamba kila zahanati, kila hospitali iko na dawa.
He further highlighted government's achievements in agriculture, education and infrastructure, challenging his critics to offer alternative solutions.
Kilimo nimerekebisha. Chai inalipa better. Kahawa inalipa better. Fertilizer nimeteremsha chini. So, wale wanaongea mambo mingi, wajitayarishe kwa hii mtihani. Wasiongee tu hivi. They must have a plan. And that plan must be better than mine. Lakini kama ni kuongea tu hii kelele, watazama asubuhi na mapema. So
He was speaking during the burial of the late John Koech, who died on Tuesday last week. John Koech served as Member of Parliament for Chepalungu Constituency for over 2 decades. He was also a member of President Daniel Arap Moi's cabinet, serving as Minister of Public Works and later as the Minister for East African Regional Cooperation under President Mwai Kibaki. And lawmakers are up in arms over the continued delay in disbursement of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund, that is NGCDF, and the Affirmative Fund, that is NGAF. The agitated MPs who threatened to paralyze business on Tuesday afternoon, sitting accused the Treasury of undermining CDF. But as calls to boycott parliamentary business intensified, Speaker of the National Assembly, that is Moses Wetangula, condemned the move, calling it an act of cowardice and unbecoming of leaders elected to serve. The legislators have summoned Treasury Cabinet Secretary, that is John Mbadi, to the National Assembly today afternoon to prove the delay.
And the Affirmative Action Fund, NGAF, accusing the National Treasury of frustrating development at the grassroots.
So, Mr. Speaker, we are saying this afternoon, order number 1 is the CDF and GAV. Order number 2, CDF and GAV.
Let us suspend everything else, members. Yes. Let us suspend everything else until the question of Kera, Kura, Les Arjon, CDF is sorted out. No more business.
And we are very concerned as members of parliament because we thought when we get one of our own sitting in that space, that things will be better. But it looks like things are getting worse.
According to the lawmakers who on Tuesday afternoon threatened to paralyze parliamentary business, key projects across constituencies, especially in education and infrastructure, have stalled, with thousands of needy students yet to have bursaries.
The NGCDF is a great concern for the country. As a house, the attention should actually be driven to the devolved funds that are going to counties, Mr. Speaker. We are speaking at a time when NGCDF is under attack from very many quarters, Mr. Speaker.
But their retaliatory threats to boycott parliamentary business riled the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula, who condemned the move, calling it an act of cowardice and unbecoming of leaders elected to serve.
As a house, you have impeached a minister, you have impeached a deputy president, you have powers in your hands. How do you run away from your own house? This is the big question. So I want to ask you, give the House an opportunity tomorrow to listen to a response.
Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi is expected at the National Assembly tomorrow afternoon to address their concerns.
He's coming here tomorrow. He'd rather come here after he's disbursed money to our accounts and come here with whatever evidence to show that that money has gone there. Failure to which, Mr. Speaker, will hold him hostage here until that is done.
And the National Assembly is on the spot for defunding the cash transfer program for the elderly. Social Protection Principal Secretary, that is Joseph Motari, while appearing before the National Assembly Committee on Implementation, said that last month's disbursement of funds to the elderly persons had been delayed by failure to allocate funds in the supplementary budget. The defunding comes even as as the Parliament, that is, lowered the required age for beneficiaries from 70 years to 65.
Alie vizuri hawa wazee. Msiwawache hivi, hata wengine wako ni disables, anaenda na anakosa. Kwa hiyo kama mnaeka ni ya M-Pesa, make sure that hawa watu kama ambao hawezi kutembea, hata hiyo M-Pesa ndo wanapata mahali wamefanya nini, wamekaa. But I want to congratulate you nowadays, sasa anapata na M-Pesa, linambia juzi.
Registration of persons living with disability. We've had issues of severe disability are the ones that are being registered. And how to rate the severe disability and this other disability has been a problem, because even people who are blind have really been complaining.
So we want, if all of them have been registered, let them get that money.
In future, once we get good funding, we should be able to make sure that we have enough wheelchairs for all the mobility tools that our people with disability need. So we will try, Mheshimiwa Chair and the honourable members, to make sure that we have enough that is quite sufficient for our people. Once we get the funds, Chair, sisi ni jembe, tutatwanga ile yote ambayo iko. But when we don't have funds, Chair, sisi tunaumia kiasi.
Now to a story that I'd highlighted earlier. How many chapatis can you eat in one sitting? Well, somebody ate 25 chapatis and was crowned the king of chapati. Let's get the details with Yusuf Farah.
There are 1,000 ways of eating a chapati. You can have it sliced and served with beans, or simply pick it page by page. Godfrey Okumu and Henry Otieno are not on your usual lunch break. The two mechanics are battling it out to determine who Busia's king of chapati is. The excited crowd appears spoiled for choice, some unable to decide which horse to back. In the end, 25 chapatis later, Godfrey emerged victorious.
Kwa ukweli leo nimeshuhudia maajabu ambayo mimi sijawahi ona. Mimi mwenyewe nikijaribu na kula chapati mbili ya tatu na salala chini.
Some even want the president to bring the much talked about chapati machine to Busia.
Ailete tu hapa Busia, ichape hizo chapati na tutapata watu wengine wenye atatuonyesha zaidi. Leo sasa mbio ndio umempeleka tungemuongezea.
Well, this is why I say don't try this at home. So I hope you get the message. Let's look at business now, where Institute of Public Finance Senior Research Analyst Bernard Njeri is calling on government agencies to prioritize clearance of pending bills in order to stimulate economic activity that will enable businesses create more wealth and tax. Elsewhere, consultants, that is at Ernst & Young East Africa Project, are calling for measures that will widen the tax bracket to fund the 2025-2026 budget.
State agencies owe about 700 billion shillings in pending bills. A senior research analyst at Institute of Public Finance says the pending bills are causing a cash flow pressure on the private sector.
This money is owed to the private sector that we saw is struggling to repay its loans to the banking sector. So at the end of the day, the government is tying up working capital for businesses, and so also affecting economic growth at the end of it all.
Njeri says there is a need to strengthen the linkage between budget planning and execution to reduce costs for programs that are allocated funding despite their poor performance.
For those state departments that were not able or that could still achieve their KPIs with less than half of their budget absorbed, we can free those resources, and they total 6.3 billion. We can free those resources and reallocate them to other critical programs.
In their pre-budget analysis, consultants at Ernst & Young East Africa are calling for the widening of the tax bracket to boost revenue collections for funding the 2025-2026 budget.
Economic theory dictates that increase in revenue in taxes and tax rates will increase revenue collection, but it will get to that point where it cannot do it anymore. And I think as a country and as East Africa at large, we got to that level.
Ernst & Young East Africa consultants are proposing a reduction in taxes to support businesses and to boost purchase power of consumers.
IMF is going to be pushing, people say the IMF conditionalities are tough. They should be tough, because if they're coming in to give you a lifeline, and IMF comes in as the lender of last resort to government, they have a right to make certain demands.
I look at sports now, where the preparations for this year's 21st Sports Personality of the Year Awards SOYA, scheduled for Thursday at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, are complete. The theme for the 21st edition of the SOYA Awards will be celebrating women excellence in sports owing to the exemplary performance by women in athletics, that is, in 2024.
Athletes will be rewarded in 11 categories during this year's SOYA Awards set for this Thursday at the KICC, including Sportswoman of the Year, Sportsman of the Year, Sportswoman with Disability, and Sportsman with Disability. Other categories are Coach of the Year, Sports Team Women, Sports Team Men, Schools Girls Team, Schools Boys Team, Schools Coach of the Year, and Hall of Fame. Double Paris Olympic Games champion Beatrice Chebet, Faith Kipyegon, and women's marathon world record holder Ruth Chepngetich are in contention for the 2024 Sports Woman of the Year award. Olympic 800-meter champion Emmanuel Wanyonyi, Africa light middleweight boxing champion Boniface Mugunde, and Olympic 5,000-meter silver medalist Ronald Kwemoi are among those nominated for the men's award. Paris Paralympics long jump silver medalist Samson Ojuka and World Ability Youth Games double gold medalist Michelle Chepngetich are among those nominated for the Sportsman and Sportswoman with Disability Awards, respectively.
Thank you so much. That's where we end the news this morning. My name is Marie Yambo. I want to leave you with this report from my colleague, in Morocco, that is Betty Kiptum.
Hello, we are coming to you live from Marrakech in Morocco, where GTEX Africa, that is the tech exhibition bringing together about 45,000 people who are interested in technology, who are investing in technology, and some companies from outside of Africa who are looking to invest in Africa and capture the African market. And today we have quite a number of startups here who have come to showcase what they are doing on the African continent. And one of those startups is Wabe, which has operations in Kenya. And we just want to speak to the CEO, Raul Martinez, who will be telling us exactly what Wabe does in ensuring that the underserved are receiving affordable credit. And thank you very much for joining us, Raul. Welcome to KBC. You are live on air. We'd like to just understand what Wabe does and why you decided to establish in Kenya.
Yes. Hi, everyone. We've launched in Kenya about 2 years ago. And we saw that there was a great need, lack of access to credit, affordable credit, and making it easy for Kenyan consumers to access, products that will help them succeed their life, buy life-changing products such as smartphones, and be able to finance it in a flexible way, use alternative data to reduce their cost of credit, and be able to really expand access to credit and improve livelihoods of those underserved.
We know that smartphone penetration in Kenya is very high. There's also a very big connectivity in the country. And I just wonder how that is helping your business.
Yeah, so definitely there is still an opportunity. Across Africa, around 50% of adults still do not own a smartphone. In Kenya, obviously, if you go to cities like Nairobi, it's probably higher. It's around 60-70%. But as you go outside of Kenya, especially in peri-urban and rural areas, that number drops. So there is connectivity already in place, but there's a big usage gap of people that either cannot afford to buy a smartphone or do not have the literate skills. So we're addressing the part of really being having affordability to buy smartphones for all of these individuals in Kenya.
And now, in terms of the credit, the CRBs, the credit referencing that you have to do, you said that you use not collateral, but alternative methods. How do you do that?
Yes, so we use data points that come from, transactional data that allows us to understand even customers that probably do not have wide coverage on the credit bureau or do not have enough transactions. We use alternative data such as their usage of mobile money transactions, questionnaires, and any other types of data that we can get hold of to really use that to reduce the cost of credit and be able to offer them a better product than just having one price that fits all the consumers in the market.
Right, and you're here at JTEX Africa. I see that you're looking for funding. Please tell us more about that.
Yes, so we've launched 2 years ago. We've deployed around $4.5 million in credit. As you know, a credit business needs funds to scale, to on-lend. We've been very cautious over the past 2 years to basically prove the model that works, right? So we haven't overexpanded ourselves. Now we feel very comfortable that we have great credit performance in our portfolio and we're ready to attract capital, and that's why we're here. So we're looking to really scale this business now that it's proven that it can really be sustainable and achieve better performance than the market, but also reduce the cost of credit for Kenyan consumers.
We've seen a number of startups across the African continent. They blow up, they get all this funding, and then 2-3 years later they are shutting down or have to scale down because of maybe too fast way of scaling. How are you ensuring that you're not falling into that trap?
Yes, and I think that was from the start. That was our key strategy. In a lending business, it's very easy to grow, because you're giving away something for free. But the most successful businesses are those that actually get paid back successfully, right? And I think that is the key thing that we've proven, and that's why we're ready to take the next step. So we've been very careful and conscious and talking to investors in terms of how we see the business growing and what is sustainable, both for the funders, for the market, and that's why we think we're ready to scale.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your thoughts. I have been speaking with Raul Martinez, who is the CEO of Wabe. They have operations in Kenya, ensuring that the underserved are accessing affordable credit. And that is just one of the conversations we are having here at JTEX Africa. Of course, there'll be conversations around matters artificial intelligence, cyber security, the financial space, the future of the fintech as well. And so we shall be keeping up with those conversations and updating you, our viewer. But from here in Marrakesh, I hand you over back to studio. My name is Betty Kiptum.
Wiki hii kwenye mkulima tumejikita mizizi hapa Mathare, ambapo tumejitosa katika kilimo cha mboga na pia ufugaji wa mbuzi wa maziwa.
After high school unapata hakuna opportunities hapa nje. Mume-enroll kwa colleges, mkitoka bado mnaangaliana hapa nje. So nakumbuka hiyo wakati tukiwa bado si wachanga, rais yule alikuwa wakati huo na alikuwa anahimiza kwamba vijana waweze create opportunities au wenyewe nao serikali itakuja kusupport. So hizo ndio ideas zenye tulika chini tukaona wacha tukue na kitu yetu yenye itatupeleka to the next level badala kutegemea saa yote tukililia serikali.
Usikose kujumuika nasi siku ya Jumamosi saa 10:30 upate uhondo kamili.
Ombeni mutapewa. Naye my dear nimekupata. Hii ni yako.
At least you can afford to laugh.
Jen, what have you done?
Mnaleta vita mpaka kwa boma yangu.
Be careful what you wish for, Pete. Unaniambia nini, Alex?
Hata siamini what's in the mind that.
Listen, sio hivyo. Come on. Check it.
Mama Jaba, sasa uchukue maua.
You homemaker.
Umeniita nani?
Huko kuna tu drama. Simu nifilini basi. Nyinyi wawili sitaki mtu akuja kwa boma yangu kabla mtajua vile mtasuluhisha hii shida yenu.
Wellness is important in our daily lives, so that instead of just surviving, we should be thriving.
Ways to prevent a stroke or heart attack is for you to know what conditions you have. By regular checkup. People don't know they have hypertension. People they don't know they have diabetes.
I was pre-diabetic.
I was afraid of getting lifestyle diseases because I come from a family that has lifestyle diseases.
How do you know if your cough is due to a serious condition? We'll have some answers. Stay well
and strive to make every day a healthy day.
Friday night again. Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice, we
have to do it twice.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Good Morning Kenya. My name is Vivian Degwa, and today on The Viewpoint, we are having an extensive and in-depth conversation on mental health. Now, in Kenya, mental health is a significant health concern, and it contributes to 13% of the overall disease burden in this country. So it is just the right conversation to have. And this time round, we are looking specifically at mental health awareness in the disciplined forces, and we have part of them right here in studio with us. If I may begin by introducing them. On my immediate left, we have Immaculate Muthui. Immaculate Muthui is an employee wellness manager at KWS. Welcome to the program. And right next to Emmanuel, we have Emuria Branded Lorua, who is a chaplain at KWS. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And then right next to him, we have SP Peter Mbui. And Peter Mbui is a mental health champion, NYS. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. I'm glad to be part of the conversation.
Thank you. Amazing. And that is not it. I have my colleague with me, and he will be introducing the rest of the people we have in studio here today. Mike.
Indeed, Vivian, the conversation is going to be robust, and on my far right, I'm joined by Dr. Josephine Wanza, OGW, who is the Commissioner of Prisons. Thank you for making time. And also Dr. Vincent Makoha, who is the Director, Chaplaincy, Counseling and Psychosocial Support at the National Police Service. Welcome to the program. And also Amos Orol Dapash, who is the Chief Chaplain and Assistant Commandant at the Kenya Forest Service. Thank you for making time to come to talk about this important issue. And just to get the show on the road, the issues of mental health have been talked about greatly. And just to start with you, Dr. Vincent, why is it important that we should have this conversation, especially one that focuses on the mental well-being of the service members at the National Police Service?
Yeah, it is important because everything revolves around our thinking faculty. It is where we determine many things. We make decisions by our mental well-being. If we are not right in our mental faculty, then many things are not going to work. So basically, we have to have our mental wellness put in the right place, well spoken about, well thought about, and also well handled, so that the rest of our actions are going to be right. And when our actions are right, especially in the security services, then everything is going to run well in the public. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And maybe if I may pick it, and I'll direct this question to you, Dr. Josephine. Do you feel like mental health is really given enough priority, specifically in your area?
All right, thank you so much for that question. In the previous past, because of the stigma associated with mental health, we've not been in a position to have those open discussions pertaining to mental health. But because of the rise in the number of cases, again, when you look at the unique working environments where our officers get working, which again is mentally and emotionally taxing, I feel we've gotten to a point where now we're having those honest conversations both at policy level as well as at the facility levels.
Is enough being done? Maybe you can jump onto that. Do you feel like enough is being done on matters like mental health in the service?
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Primarily, I would wish to, first of all, appreciate that disciplined officers are also workers within the workplace. And matters touching on mental health issues are also affecting the uniformed officers. And I would really appreciate that most of the officers have these issues being addressed in terms of policies being put into place and also mental health awareness programs coming out very, very vividly. You'll also notice that initially, as Dr. has said, there was a lot of stigma when actually people are seeking, when our officers are seeking professional assistance. But now when more mental health awareness programs are put into place, I think at the workplace we'll be able to address these issues and also minding that it's a myriad of issues that eventually add up to mental health. Yeah.
You know, let me bring you Immaculate on this. You know, beyond the uniform, beyond the crown is a human being. How would you say the uniformed officers have taken up this awareness or this initiative of seeking mental health help?
Okay, thank you for that question. I would like to add to what Dr. Josephine has said. Before, there was no much when it comes to issues of mental health because too much of stigma was put into issues of mental health. Nobody would want to approach anybody and discuss about how they're feeling and what challenges they're going through. But now with the policies in place, for example, in our organization, we find that most people are now talking and they can openly discuss and open up to their line supervisors or anybody who is in charge of issues to do with counseling and bring themselves out and say that I need help and I need assistance and I appreciate the organization that anybody who has mental health issues, they get addressed and they seek medication and they're treated and they go back to work and the stigma is out because with a lot of sensitization programs, we find that stigma is going down. Let's not say 100%, but I can appreciate that the stigma levels have gone really, really down.
This is the stigma now within the discipline forces?
Yes, within the discipline forces, yes.
All right, going by a study that was done by the National Police Service a while back, the research shows that 1 in every 10 police officers reportedly experience mental health issues. Looking at that number, 1 in every 10 is quite alarming, if you will agree with me. And I would love to pose this question to Dr. Vincent. You know, 1 in every 10, that's a huge number, right? So it's clearly alarming. So where exactly is the problem? Where exactly, you know, speaking as someone who's in the forces, specifically you represent NPS, right? The National Police Service. So where exactly would you say the problem is?
In the first place, when we talk about 1 out of 10 who with mental health problem, it doesn't mean that it's so alarming. It's not acute as such. What we are basically saying is when we were doing our assessment, the level may be very high in some officers, but not very high in others. So basically that is what I want us to understand. So the number is not as high as we can imagine because of our interpretation of what it means 1 out of 10. But what that means is that basically it means that what is happening is the operational capability of the service, the involvement in the operations, the involvement in the public participation in terms of productivity, providing security. Every now and then you are called upon to respond to issues that pertain to what is happening within the public. Each and every day when you wake up in the morning, you have other responsibilities back at home. You have other responsibilities surrounding yourself as a person. So that basically could be a contributing factor to that. But what we have done is quite a lot, because when we realized that, we started making steps to ensure that we reduce that number. Yeah, that was the basic assessment level. But when we did that, we started reducing the number by treatment and counseling and using so many ways that can help the officers to come to their senses and know that they are needed by the public. And so basically, it is not as alarming as we can interpret. Yeah.
Indeed. And also, you know, physical fitness is associated with the men and women in uniform. But then again, does it mean, if I'm bringing you Amos on this, does it mean that mental health of the uniformed officers takes a little bit of a back burner when it comes to these issues? We look at physical fitness over mental health.
Okay, thank you very much. It is true that mental health is contributed by many issues. And for physical fitness, I think for officers, especially when we come to our organization, we deal with patrols in the forests. And many a times our officers walk around patrolling the forests. And I think through that they get a lot of physical fitness, and that one actually helps us now to reduce the mental health. But again, we have many other issues which contributes to the same. So for the physical fitness, I think we have many other areas, and you look like sports. We have groups, sport groups, like the police, we have the prisons, we have the Kenya Forest Service, the KDF, and these are programs that has been brought forth so that it can cope the mental health issues.
All right, and even as we continue with this conversation, remember that you at home can be part of this. We have our lines that will be open within no time from now. And remember, you can also send in a WhatsApp message to either of the service members who are here today. The number is 0716 103 301. 0716 103 301. We'll be taking calls later, and your messages are also very much welcome. Now, if I may direct it to you, Brandon, even as he was talking about some of the programs available, if we can just get to hear from you, you know, from as you're from KWS, right? What are some of the programs that you would say are accessible or available for you as KWS service members?
Thank you, Vivian. At Kenya Wildlife Service, we have initiated programs in most parts of our country, right from the training at headquarters and all over the field. We have sporting programs at Kenya Wildlife Service Law Enforcement Academy. We have a variety of programs that help in recreation, so that to make our officers mentally and physically fit. And most of them, it's good that today we have our wellness manager around. She's exactly the one who provides all of this to our officers in the field. And with your permission, kindly allow me to ask her to
join in on that. Yes, Immaculate. But, you know, as he's put it, you are their wellness manager. So how does that look like?
Okay, I want to add on what he was talking about, the sports activities. So what we found out that helps in mitigating issues of mental health and issues of substance abuse in the organization is having sporting activities in the field areas, because some of our rangers are active from 8 to 5, and they live in the parks. I think all of you understand where our parks are. And they don't have time to go to, to a shopping center. So to mitigate issues of alcoholism and mental health, to improve on their mental health, we came up with sporting activities. And some of the activities include volleyball and volleyball, netball, and darts and football. And every time we encourage after work, they can go and sit together as a team and, and play. It creates that team bonding. And you get yourself away from going to the nearest shopping center for any other activities that are not healthy for you. So for us as the wellness office, we ensure that we check with every station, every HR in every area. What do you need as your area? What is workable for you in your area? If it's football, we even have tournaments. We participate in many tournaments in volleyball and football, and that has really helped us and has reduced issues of mental health in those areas.
Yeah. And before I even hand it over to Mike, maybe to you, Dr. Josephine, as the Kenya Prison Service consultant psychiatrist, when we talk about the disciplined forces, people see these strong men. You assume these are strong people. They've gone through very vigorous training, so they should be strong. I mean, what do you mean you're having mental health issues? So just as a psychiatrist, probably, do you feel like men in the disciplined forces, men and women in the disciplined forces, are open to come and talk about their mental health? Is that something that is happening? And just how well do you, or is it being made for them? How open is it for them to also to just be able to speak about it and not be looked at, you're perceived to be strong. So what do you mean?
So thank you for that question. First of all, let me just clarify, in as much as men and women in the disciplined forces appear to be strong, we are still genetically predisposed to acquire mental illnesses, and it's that environmental trigger which might again predispose one to succumb either to one or two mental issues. So for my organization, we've had robust systems to just come in and support our officers, one being existence of peer support groups, especially for officers with other chronic illnesses. As you're aware, chronic illnesses again are associated with comorbid mental health conditions. Additionally, we also have a robust chaplaincy and spiritual care where officers can seek these services internally within the station level. We also have a very interesting medical and counseling services. And to top it up, we recently were onboarded on a very good medical cover that allows our officers to access mental health services. Additionally, we've also collaborated with other county as well as national stakeholders to come up with a mental health policy that is specific for the correctional setup, because currently that was not in existence, and we relied heavily on guidance from the Ministry of Health. So those are some of the issues we've put in place to just try and address mental health concerns. But overall, one arcing theme is that we've tried to just have that open conversation. In as much as we operate in an environment where there's that ranking system, sensitizing our officers from the top level, that's our directors, the regional commanders, the station in charges, to just understand where these people are coming from and view mental health as a concern, not necessarily as a disciplinary issue. So those are some of the issues that we put in place and measures we've put in place to just try and curb this menace that cuts across not only within the disciplined forces but across the society.
Indeed. And something Vivian has said about men and women in disciplined forces perceived to be strong. Bwana Amos, do you think this has contributed to stigma that makes some of them not speak out?
Just before he gets to answer that question, let us take a break. We'll be back in a few, and remember our lines are open 0716 103 301. We'll be back after the break.
Pindi tunapowasha vifaa vyetu, tunapata fursa ya kutangamana na wasikilizaji wetu.
Karibu sana thĩinĩ wa tabarĩra ya Rwiga.
Tunapeperusha utangazaji uliobobea katika habari,
nĩ ũndũ wa macio na mangĩ maingĩ,
burudani,
haha nĩ harĩa tũkoragwo tũkĩigua nyĩmbo mwaki nyĩmbo hot,
na hamasisho la kiroho. Usiachwe nyuma. Jiunge nasi kwa safari ya kufana katika 99.5 FM. Shoro FM.
The world of governance is vast and can be alien to the ordinary man on the street.
Critical issues are going to be discussed.
From white papers to policy positions, it is easier to get lost in the labyrinth of words.
Inside Government takes you to key global metropolis, where critical decisions are made and where policies are crafted.
We interview policymakers and senior government officials to highlight and enumerate government policies and projects. We take a deep dive into the underbelly of complex red tape to demystify policies across the country, across the world. Join me, O'Brien Kimani, on Inside Government, only on KBC Channel 1.
From the bliss of new beginnings to the trials of commitment, this is a celebration of resilience, passion, and the power of togetherness. Join us as we unravel real-life stories, because every journey deserves to be cherished, for better, for worse, on KBC Channel 1.
Watching Good Morning Kenya, and today we are focusing on mental health awareness within the disciplined forces. Remember, you can be part of this conversation by sending us your WhatsApp message. Our number is 0716 103 301. 0716 103 301. Let's continue with this conversation. Before we went on a break, Amos, I had posed a question to you regarding the perception that men and women in uniform are considered to be very strong. Perception is they are supposed to be strong, nothing is supposed to shake them. But then again, does this contribute to the stigma of them not coming out to speak about these issues?
Thank you. It is true, men in uniform are strong, especially because of the trainings that they are taken through in the paramilitary trainings. And coming to these health issues, I think it is personal issues which affects both the strong and the weak. And therefore, coming now to the discipline services, because of that strength that I am an officer. Sometimes I think it will contribute being shy, coming out to speak that I am affected in this area. So I think actually it might contribute. Yes.
But then again, how do you now, having known that, how do you ensure that the environment is conducive enough to enable them to come speak out if they are facing anything to do with mental issues?
Okay, we have been actually putting in place, as we have just talked, and my colleagues have put clear that we have policies in place in every organization. And when we come to Kenya Forest Service, we have policies in place, and actually one of the issues that we have put in place is what we call the employee assistance programs, whereby we do counseling and psychosocial support to these officers. And we talked with them. And another assistance is about chaplaincy. We have chaplains in place And chaplaincy also offers spiritual support and social support to all our staffs and to the families of this staff. So we have actually systems, support system in place for our service personnel. Yes.
All right, now if we go by the statistics that are there, and even just by just viewing and being able to see the stories that we get to see on several occasions, most of the ones who are affected are the junior officers. Maybe just why is this the case? Is it because now they are not able to freely interact with their seniors? Just maybe what would you say is the reason as to why the juniors are more affected when it comes to mental health issues? Peter.
Well, thank you, Vivian. For me, I would really say that maybe the leadership structures that we use, you see, for example, you'll find that in the military organizations, it's actually autocratic. Sometimes it's top-down. And you'll notice that we really say that the juniors would come out and open up strongly if the top management would actually engage in active listening. And you'll find that many a times the juniors are just fresh from the training programs. And basically, maybe they're not exposed to that awareness that these services are available. But once they come to the reality that there are policies put in place, there are wellness centers that have been established, and they can be able to walk in and get these services, then I think they would really be able to get assistance. And then most of them, sometimes they shy down. They shy down, they're not exposed in the workplace, and this would actually shut them down from seeking help. So the responsibility we have is to create more awareness. I said that the bottom line is create more awareness, sensitize more, and people who are actually lying under stigma will be able to open up and come out. It actually begins with a conversation.
Maybe Immaculate, you can add on to that, as a wellness manager, just what more do you feel should be done in order to also make sure that the mental health, wellness of the juniors is also just well taken care of as much, and they don't kind of feel inferior, too inferior from the seniors, and also open communication and interaction between the juniors and the seniors?
Okay, first, what I would want to appreciate with my organization is in our current strategic plan, the 2024-2028, what they have done is there's an enhancement of issues of employee wellness and employee wellness programs to all employees to enable to support both the junior and the senior. Sometimes what I see is, for us, most of the seniors, we feel like the problems are not with us, are for the junior. And the ones who report when they have issues is the junior staff instead of the seniors. But what we've done as an organization is we have a very a good sensitization program. We encourage everybody within our organization to have an email address for the organization, because we have what we call a wellness day, where we sensitize everybody about our programs, and where to report and when you have issues. So that one, for us, we've not seen a challenge where that we can say that our officers, only the junior reports, but for us is everybody. It cuts across. Everybody can report, and our reporting line. For that, the reporting starts, it can either be an individual report, or it can be from, your line supervisor or the head of such a department. So I cannot say that it's only our junior staff who are reporting with issues of mental health. Ours cuts across to all cadres.
Let me throw this to Dr. Vincent. At what point do you start mental health programs? Is it at the point of once you have taken recruits, as they train, it's part of the training, or it's after they have graduated, now they are on the job?
We start at the training. immediately after recruitment, we let them know that the kind of training they are going to go through, mental preparedness, so that when they find anything difficult, it doesn't become something new. Because when there is you meet unexpected, something you have not been told about, that is when you start reacting to it. Now, so we start immediately after recruitment, we have to tell them what we are going through, what we will do all through. We may not tell them the details, but we are going to we usually tell them to be prepared for hard times ahead, because we are going to train in order to protect the society. So we need to be harder, a little bit higher than the rest of the society. So we prepare them that way. But those who start suffering from mental illnesses, we start helping them to heal through counseling, through some other psychosocial activities, so that we let them run through the program up to the end. So basically, it is about the beginning of training up to your retirement level. Yes.
Now, Dr. Vincent, through the programs that you have so far, what can you say has been the impact of these efforts?
Yeah, we have had a great impact, a very positive impact, because you look at the reactions there before and after sensitizing the officers, you realize that there is our productivity at work is very high. The reaction between the public and the police has changed. You can realize even nowadays somebody threatens to beat a police officer and the police officer looks very calm. Yeah, you realize the other day on TV in Isiolo, somebody was trying to provoke a police officer and he was just calm. It is because of the kind of preparedness, the sensitization, what we tell them about the public and themselves. And so it helps them running. And even in operations where people expect things to be very difficult, you have lost a colleague, yeah, on your immediate right or left, but you're still fighting on. You have been prepared to go through it, so you don't shake, you don't tremble. You fight to the end. Then after that, you are debriefed. Then life continues because you have to continue working. You have to continue serving the country, and you have to continue even serving your own family. Yeah.
All right. From our lines, if I can just go through some of the messages that are coming in. This one says, hello, I'm Limo Vincent, currently in Naivasha. I was in NYS, but what brings mental disturbance is when you need to go for a pass. You are denied to meet with the people of your family. That is one of the things he says brings that mental disturbance, as he puts it. And I will allow either of you to jump onto that. But before you do, if I may just read maybe two more, then we can have you answer. This one says, good morning, our wellness managers, please consider starting the topic with the nature of duty as the main cause of mental health, especially officers dealing with riots, crime scenes. All in all, when the pocket temperature is cold, you know, when the pocket temperature is cold, things become worse, and officers have taken loans, and due to the lean payslip, it becomes the major contribution of mental health. So I love that the people comment are part of the service, and they are giving us some of the issues they feel causes mental health. I'll read one more and then I'll have you answer that. This one says, Salimie Afandembui, my guiding and counseling instructor, and mwambie servicemen and women go through hard time, kukaziwa ndani ya kambi, kupata pass ni kibarua. Let's start with you, Boy.
Well, thank you so much. That's a nice comment.
Yeah.
First of all, I would really love to appreciate that they are actually speaking out. Now, for us, pass is an official leave of absence. And as you are aware, as an institution, we are actually administrating youths who have got complex issues. So basically, most of our youths are students. And when we issue the leave of absence, we have to put into consideration that they are also actually engaging in their academic career lessons. So basically, when what we do is that when schools are on recess, we allow them to go and interact with their people. And also just to emphasize that mental health is a holistic dimension. I speak of physical health, I speak of social wellness, I speak of financial wellness, I speak of emotional, spiritual, occupational, and vocational. So basically, for us, we actually hold them during the training calendar, and then immediately they are able to go on research, we release them. But sometimes we offer those leave outs on need basis. If there's a need that I need to go out, of course you have a conversation and you are granted a leave of absence. On matters to do with finance, I would really want to say that financial aspect contributes to mental health. But it's now a time whereby we need to elaborate more on financial literacy. Not just about increment of finances, but how well can you cope with what you have? How well can you plan with what you have? If you can't plan with 1,000 and I give you 1 million, simply means that your planning and preparedness perspective is not okay. So what I'm saying is that we need to actually encourage financial literacy. Tell our people not only to save, but save to invest, and also have other avenues of actually developing their wealth portfolio.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Someone brought up the issue of the nature of duty, you know, as being one of the factors that may contribute to mental health issues, especially those dealing with riots, crime scenes. And I would love you, Daktari, to jump onto that.
Well, excuse me. Well, as you've noted, the uniqueness of the nature of work performed by each of officers from the different forces, particularly for Kenya Prison Service, you find officers supervising and interacting with a potentially violent population. And this can be tasking and draining on their emotional well-being. And on my end, I feel there's need to just have, establish a critical incident stress debriefing sessions, especially after riots. At times, officers encounter suicides among the prisoners. Additionally, we've also had violent incidents within prisons. So there's that need to have active debriefing sessions to just deal with what these officers have gone through. Additionally, again, the conversation around seeking mental health care, I feel there's a lot of hesitancy in terms of seeking these services. And the reason for that is we've not really quite actualized that open conversation about
I'll have to cut
mental
you short a
health.
bit. We have a caller. We have a Jackson. Jackson, if you can hear me, good morning. Tuko salama. Do you have a question for us or it's a comment? Go ahead and ask or comment.
Yes. Yes.
We can hear you. Continue. Just ask your question.
You should not think that sometimes because we have seen some challenges like yesterday, someone was killed in Kirisia Forest in Sabun. So I'm wondering how she should be trained on how.
Continue. Oh, I think we lost him. Did you get what he was saying? I didn't get clearly, but I think he was talking about something to do with there was someone who was killed, matters KWS, but I didn't get to hear till the end.
Yeah, but there's a comment here. Someone is saying the problem is chain of command in the forces. Some officers fear to tell their problems in public. Maybe that speaks to the chain of the channels of communication. How do you read them, Brandon? I'll bring you on this. And also, what does a supportive mental health system would look like for an officer in the unit?
Thank you, my brother. With the issue of chain of command, it is very clear, it is very structured in all our uniform disciplined services. And in KWS in particular, our reporting line begins right from an NCO cadre, that is from a corporal, all through up to Director General. And the communication flows smoothly. When the junior most officer in our line is the ranger. When a ranger has issues, he or she has to report to his or her immediate supervisor, who is a corporal. And the corporal escalates the same to a sergeant and goes up to the right place. And with that structured way of communication, things flow, and individuals do air out their issues, and they are articulated well. If I may go back slightly to the issue of off-duty and leave passes. We have put in place in our uniform disciplinary services, every officer is entitled to a leave, an annual leave in every year. And in between, in the middle, when things arise, an officer is granted an off-duty. It depends with the place where an officer works. It can be 2 days of duty, 3 days of duty, a maximum of 7 days.
Okay. We have another caller. There's Collins Otieno from Kisumu. Collins, good morning. And what is your comment or question?
My comment is that this is like a question.
Yes.
I'm saying, okay, according to the mental health awareness that is going on,
Yes.
and what because this illness is mostly prevalent in armed forces, what is that? What are the strategies put in place to cut this menace, and what are the mitigation steps they are having, given that nowadays we have AI? Do they adopt AI in solving this solution?
Wow, that's a really good question. You
It's
know,
adoption
now
of technology.
yes, the technology has advanced. So probably, what are the strategies that you are putting in place? Matters, you know, mental wellness, and now incorporating technology into it, AI, as he puts it. Either of you can. Do you want to take that?
Yes. We are not doing everything manually. We realize and recognize that times are changing, so we change with the times. We are using a lot of, we're putting a lot of information on social media. We are using technology in communicating to our officers across the country and those who are in abroad. And we have even trained them on how to get any information that they want from the service or the counseling directorate, and we have ensured that they get it. And this will begin from training institutions. If you are not trained at a recruit level, then at an advanced level, let's say a development course, some promotional course, we ensure that we train you on how to use social media or to use technology in getting the information that we want. So we post the information there, and then whenever you get there, you find it ready. Yeah, so basically that is it. And we have also developed a system where if you want to be counseled, for example, using AI, we have a system, a software. We have not yet opened it to the whole world. Because recently somebody wanted to steal it, so we were very careful about it. It's a very good, robust system where once you join it, then you immediately join it, then you pass your information. My name is Vincent. I work at National Police Service Headquarters. Then they will ask you, I will ask you, what is your problem, Vincent? Then you tell them, my wife quarreled me this morning.
Yeah,
so what do you want to do? I want to shoot her. Then they will start communicating with you.
Okay, let's take this
Yes.
caller before we lose him. We have
All right.
Jeremiah. Jeremiah, good morning, and what is your comment or question?
Good morning.
Morning to you.
My comments are first, those.
Yes, Jeremiah, go
First,
on.
my comment goes on the issue of on how we are doing recruitment processes. Right?
Yes.
We find that most recruits to different services, but they have a different view. And we need to look on the mode of training. Counseling should be actually implemented mostly in our colleges at the initial stages so that every recruit understands the nature and the role he or she is going to have outside. Others have done recruitment purposely to safeguard their family interests, where we have a lot of nepotism, self-interest in that somebody goes there to provide security in terms of family wealth, family resources.
Okay, we've lost him.
Yeah.
But he's talked about several things. The matter of nepotism in recruitment, and also I feel there's something that is very important that he touched on, and I'd love to know, is counseling or mental health awareness part of your training, you know, from the get-go? As he said, it should be from the start, from the schools, from the colleges, from the training sessions you have. Is it part of it?
Yes, it is.
It's part of it.
Yeah.
So on our end, training on mental first aid, as well as just equipping these recruits with the ability to identify the signs and symptoms of common mental health disorders is done during the induction courses. That's the initial course, as well as the in-service training for already serving officers. But again, there's also need for continuous engagement to just update them on emerging issues pertaining to mental health, because again, mental health is evolving.
Okay.
Indeed.
For us also. And for us, we've integrated the wellness programs, issues of mental health, into our training curriculum in our training college for the recruits and also promotional courses. So that is all integrated in our programs.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe from your perspective, what is the difference? Is there or the correlation between mental resilience and mental health?
Daktari, you can comment on that.
Well, I think mental resilience basically entails the ability to just cope with the day-to-day challenges that might affect our mental health negatively. The other question was on mental health.
Mental health, the correlation of the difference between the
mental health, again, as defined by WHO, is not necessarily the absence of a mental illness, but just having that ability to cope with the day-to-day stresses of life and being able to engage interactively across the different areas of interaction, be it work, school, social circles. So I feel there's a correlation with, between mental resilience and mental health. With mental resilience, again, one is able to cope with some of the stressors that they face on a day-to-day challenge. So for sure, there's a correlation.
Yeah. Now, we cannot finish this conversation without getting to talk about the real issue in terms of, I am sure, maybe all of you at least know one colleague who probably has committed suicide, because the rates are looking bad, and we are having stories that we need to tell on the news time and again, whereby there's an officer who's committed suicide. Very recently, there's one who killed the children and killed himself. Like, there's others where you've killed your fellow colleague, you've killed your spouse. Like, it's so rampant. And just from the conversation, as we speak, it seems like you've really put a lot of measures in place. But where exactly is the problem? And how well can you maybe advise, or maybe the word isn't to advise, how well can one stress manage? You know, when you talk about stress management, just what is the best way to tackle that? Because it's very unfortunate and it's a sad situation. Maybe we can begin with you, Amos.
It is true. We have been having these cases like suicide, as you have mentioned, and it is a very stressful station when we lose an officer through suicide. But again, I think these assistance programs, wellness programs are in place. And we have been trying all that we can, and to see that our officers live their lives to the fullness. But it is so unfortunate that these things happens. It is because of what we are talking about, the mental health.
Allow us to get back to that. We take a break and then we come back.
Okay.
All right.
Messages?
Kudimitwe
Dear girl child, mwanaume akikuja kwako atamepata jiko, mwambie we ni gas na utampatia pressure.
Ananipenda leo kuliko jana.
Ajira ni swala wazi ama ni swala ambayo ni la hakika baada ya chuo kikuu? Je, ni kweli?
Fisadi umekita mizizi katika nchi yetu, ambapo lazima mtu yote anapotafuta ajira lazima aweze kumonga au kumtilia pondo mwajiri ili aweze kupata ajira.
Unaweza kuwa umekamilisha chuo kikuu na ikawa nadra kujiajiri mwenyewe.
Nomino zinazozingatia sauti guna.
Nomino ni pa.
Jangwa. Kanusha.
Sisi si wanafunzi wewe.
Upande wa darasa.
Sisi ndisi wanafunzi.
Umenoa.
Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Mali Moses, the positive warrior, alongside.
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.
Wiki hii kwenye Mkulima tumejikita mizizi hapa Mathare, ambapo tumejitosa katika kilimo cha mboga na pia ufugaji wa mbuzi wa maziwa.
After high school unapata hakuna opportunities hapa nje. Mume-enroll kwa colleges, mkitoka bado mnaangaliana hapa nje. So nakumbuka hiyo wakati tukiwa bado si wachanga, rais yule alikuwa wakati huo na alikuwa anahimiza kwamba vijana waweze create opportunities au wenyewe nao serikali itakuja kusupport. So hizo ndio ideas zenye tulika chini tukaona wacha tuwe na kitu yetu yenye itatupeleka to the next level badala kutegemea saa yote tukililia serikali.
Usikose kujumuika nasi siku ya Jumamosi saa 10:30 upate uhondo kamili.
Welcome back and thank you so very much for staying with us right here on Good Morning Kenya, The Viewpoint. Before we took that break, the question I had asked was on why do we have so many rampant cases? Like, why are there why are we having cases of officers committing suicide, you know, killing their spouses, killing their children? Like, why is it so rampant? What exactly is the problem if everything seems to be, you know, put in place as we have gotten to hear from the officers who are here? So maybe if I can just hear from, you know, Amos has talked about it. So maybe if we can hear from you, Brandon.
Thank you, Vivian. Indeed.
Yeah, where exactly is the problem?
The problem is, however, we need to appreciate one thing, that all these things we are dealing with a human being who has an intellect, a soul, and things are cropping. But even if things are cropping, we have to come up with a mechanism to make sure that we cope with things, we cope with the situations the way we come across. And in every situation, what we need to do is first to identify the situation, find meaning in that situation, and have peace with the situation. And that's why we thank God that in every organization we have our wellness programs, we have our psychosocial support specialists, and even though these things come out, our officers are ready to help our people who do experience these issues. And that's why today we've had an opportunity to come with our wellness manager, and that's why I was of opinion that she helps.
All right, so maybe for you as a wellness manager, my question to you would be, what's the best way to tackle stress management? Because we all go through stress, and I can only imagine the kind of stress that the men in uniform go through. I'm sure it is, you know, crazy, you know. So just what's the best way to go through that?
Okay, thank you for that. I think I'll add on to the one comment that I made before. It's to normalize issues of sensitization, because with information giving, people can understand that these are my stressors and this is how I'm supposed to deal with the issues. Then two is the sensitization of senior management and line managers, because when somebody has a mental issue, there are those signs that you can tell that actually this person has an issue. What are the signs? How do I look at these signs? You would find somebody has totally changed and they've become moody, they have become antisocial. So it's us to sensitize the managers and the line supervisors, even the junior staff, yeah? If you see somebody who has changed character and behavior, where do I report? And the good thing is they know where to report. Then we normalize. For us, we've normalized the issue of seeking help. And when they seek help, like Dr. Josephine was saying, they have a good medical scheme that assist employees with even mental challenges. Us also as KWS, we also have the same. We have a good medical scheme that assists employees either with medical issues, depression and alcohol. And if it's an extreme issue, we have rehabilitation programs. So that one has really helped us to deal with issues of stress and mental challenges in the organization. Yeah. Okay.
Now the messages are coming in, so many of them, and let me read some of them. Morning, Salimia Afande Mbui. Swali langu ni why is it that hatupewi savings zetu even after tumetoka service. I personally nilipigiwa simu kuhusu savings zangu but sijai ona pesa, please. Maybe you respond to that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Maybe to respond to that, I would actually request the caller to actually follow up with our department and actually find out whether he or she actually went through the processes very well. And if maybe there were some documents that were missing, they're able to make those amendments. Because I believe that the savings are there and he or she will get it.
Let me read another one. Hi, I'm Titus Lisutsa from Nairobi. Say hi to Dr. Makoha. A very good leader. I find him to be my role model. Main cause of these mental issues is low payment, poor living conditions, hostile leaders, staying away from family for long period of time, and sometimes lack of appreciation from within and without. Maybe you could say something on that.
Yes, first I appreciate the compliment. Secondly, I want to say that when we talk about low payment, like what my colleague Mbui said,
yes,
it is not the amount of money that you have that makes it low. It is how you use it. I was employed those days when salary was very low. Then I was a very junior officer, and we had those senior officers who had really organized themselves very well. So in terms of money, it is about your financial management, personal financial management system.
We have a caller. Sorry
yes.
for interjecting. We have Collins from Kisumu. Good morning, Collins. Good morning, Collins. If you can hear me, what's your comment or question? Okay, I think we've lost him. You can go on.
Yeah, we have very good, we need to have the training on personal management system is very important. So financial management system, which is trained throughout from recruit level to the highest level. So you need to know how to manage your finances. Even if you are given $1 million shillings and you don't know how to use it, then it will be a problem. So about the other issue?
He's saying poor living conditions, hostile leaders, and staying away from family for long periods of time, and lack of appreciation from within and without.
Yeah, we have trained our officers. We have taken them for training, especially the commanders, to know how to appreciate the junior officers and to know how to address their issues. So in terms of hostility, I think that one is reducing. It's reducing very fast. And then the other thing, poor living conditions.
Yes.
Of course, living conditions is the environment within which you live and work.
Yes.
In police, and I believe in all the services across, we are trained to live under all conditions. Yeah. So the so-called poor living conditions should not...
have to interject you.
Yes,
we
yes.
have a caller, Kefa. Kefa, good morning.
Good morning to you, madam.
Very well, thank you. Thank you for calling in. What's your question or comment?
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I'd like to note the following issues.
Yes.
Number one, we have an issue with career progression, more especially in the district forces. More especially, I may take NPS on this one. We have people who have taken loans and advanced academically, and the promotions are not forthcoming. I wish Dr. Makoa would be in a position to address some of these things.
Yes.
Another thing, the district forces is not able to differentiate between job groups and promotions maybe to other levels. Yeah, you can work in the same rank for a long time, but why can't you advance in job groups? You move from one job group to another one, like our other services are doing. Honestly, how can you serve for over 20 years in the same rank with a clean record? That's a clean file, you have advanced academically, and you are not moving.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Who will take
I think
it was
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, take it.
Oh, fine. About career progression.
Yes.
I am lucky I'm part of the team that develop our career progression guidelines in National Police Service. And basically it addresses that problem.
Yes.
But when you go to school and expect to be promoted just because you went to school, it doesn't work that way. Promotion comes with opportunity. Is there a chance for that rank? Do we need this rank in this place? So what happens is, when you are a graduate, for example, you are going for an interview, you have an added advantage over and above that officer who is not a graduate, because you put in a lot of effort to go to school. So that has been addressed in a certain manner. We may not be able to promote all graduates at a go, but the problem is being addressed gradually in a manner that actually befits the requirements of promotion. Because promotion is not just about you are a graduate. I can give an example of myself. I went to school, I didn't know there were promotions for graduates or something like that. So I just did it because I wanted to get knowledge to perform well in my area of deployment. And that was my interest. So if you go to school in the first place, what is your purpose? Is it to be promoted or to get knowledge so that you can be able to perform well in your area of work?
Okay.
So once you understand that, then the issue of you are a graduate or so and so will not work. Because right now in National Police Service, almost half of the officers are graduates. Suppose we decide to promote all of them, then it will mean we will not have a worker. And the worker is that constable. Yeah, that's the one who makes us become National Police Service, really.
All
Yeah,
right.
thank you.
Okay, allow me to go through the messages that are coming in. I'll begin with this one. He says, good morning. The truth is majority of these senior leaders don't have knowledge on what mental health awareness is. The work pressure from them is too much and they don't even care. Some of them have the poorest of leadership skills, just the seniority part of it. This one is annoyed, you know. Yeah. So I'll read some of them, and then maybe I can throw some questions to you from the messages. This other one is, this is Cornelius, ex-NYS, and now serving in the U.S. Army. I must compliment the good work the National Youth Service are doing, but kindly make sure that the people who are moving out of the service at the end of the terms have something to engage in. I was totally depressed when out of NYS with nothing to do. Let's have the other discipline absorbing them. Bwana nilifukuzwa, amesema mpaka bwana. Bwana nilifukuzwa on ground eti huyu ni wa NYS akiwa Kenya Police. This is akiwa ameenda Kenya Police. This is a very informative topic. I work with the uniformed officers, KPS, as a counselor. By having this topic itself is a step towards reforming and healing in the area of mental health for our officers. I urge the information to flow from the most top to the junior levels, like they all embrace it. It's not just for those drug addict officers or rejects, as they label it. I'll read maybe two more. The problem is chain of command in the forces. Some of the officers fear to tell their problems in public. Imagine you expose yourself to your fellow teammates about what you are suffering from. The whole camp will know what you are suffering from, and some of the bosses don't want juniors to come direct to them to discuss their problems and give solutions. That's a lot.
There's a viewer here who has sent another message is saying...
just before that, we have a caller. Charles, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, what's your comment or question?
What I can say is, what I just want to say.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes,
go ahead, Charles. We can hear you.
First of all, I just want to thank all the officers who came in, because that's a good impression. Being an officer coming and joining us in this conversation, I just suggest them keep it up, and God will always be with you whenever you do your work. First of all, coming to my quiz.
Yes.
I would say that this mental illness it is everywhere. What the officer who can try to do,
yes,
they can try to every position to have a who can get all the officer. In the bigger than happening in every station in this country. Because this thing is country like that. Because all the officers in this Kenya are having so many things at times. Whenever there was a time I saw a person has been knocked over by a car, and then those officers they came, they took the body and put it in the car and take them to the mortuary. That's what I'm saying. It's good to every position to have a federal government, yes, so that you can help officers. That's what I just wanted to say.
All right, thank you so much, Al.
Let me read two messages, and one of them here is saying, good morning, I'm very happy with the program. My concern goes to Afande Peter of NYS. Mental health mostly encountered ex-NYS under officers after exiting the service upon completion of the contract. can they put in place measures of securing job opportunities for NYS products? That is Victor Kadoya. I think you respond to that. And this is Cornelius ex-NYS, and now serving, I think you have read that. Yeah, I think you can respond to that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now, let me say that as NYS, we have come up with the job linkages programs, whereby we are seeking opportunities for our youths who have exited the service, within and without. We are undertaking interviews with external employers, and we have made sure that most of our youths are getting employment within the global world. Number two, we are talking about, I want to say that there's a caller who has appreciated that he's working now with the US Army, and he has appreciated what NYS has done. So what we do again is that we are actually encouraging business startups, whereby our youth can, after acquiring the relevant skills, be able to go out and create job opportunities and also become employers. As we say that it begins with a small step, a single step, though the journey is 1,000 kilometers journey. And last but not least, I want to appreciate His Excellency the President, and he has actually given a directive that 30% of disciplined services recruitment should appreciate NYS. So like right now we have got the prison recruitment exercise, and there's a slot for NYS, because I've seen in the advertisement we have got NYS as a center. So we are doing what we can do to ensure that our youths are able to fall in place and develop this country.
Let me ask you, Amos, are there measures that are in place to maybe once after service you follow up on the officers, especially those that have gone through mental health awareness programs?
After retirement?
Yes, after the contract is over.
Okay. Maybe for us, Kenya Forest Service, it might be different with NYS, because maybe NYS, after 2 years, 4 years, building the national and doing some courses, they are given to the community. But for us, when we employ in permanent and pensionable terms, that somebody works up to the retirement stage, that is 60 years. Now, after 60 years, somebody now exceeds, but even before that, somebody can volunteer to retire early. And in fact, we have a system in place that even after somebody has gone out, like in Kenya Forest Service, we have a welfare, Kenya Forest Service staff welfare. And that somebody, whether you are in or out, you are still attached. You are a member, and you are assisted in that welfare. So actually, we have a system in place.
So you have a follow-up, some sort of a follow-up system for these officers. Let me just read one more message, Vivian. Good morning here. Good morning here. I want to let our leaders in uniform to tell the truth. Junior officers go through a lot. We are under pressure, threats, and sometimes suspensions because my boss didn't want to listen to me. I think he's talking about himself. We are forcibly told to do certain things that for a normal person, it's terrible. My wish is, one, just like we have IPOA to oversee the police may also have a team to help the police, now outside the police. We need to have officers that we match in, and they should not be police officers. Here, we may be safe. Otherwise, officers will continue suffering, dying, and some going mad. I think he is addressing the system where...
Okay. We do have a caller.
Okay, all right.
His name is actually Mike. So, Mike, good morning. Mike, can you kindly mute your television? Mike, kindly mute your TV. Okay, Mike, When you call in, kindly just mute your TV so that we can be able to get to communicate well.
I think
you can finish with what
I think what he's saying is that, from what he's saying is that try to have another maybe system that is not from the uniformed officers to help them talk about these issues. Is that something that that can work?
Well, I think that's a conversation that we can take up at policy level, at the top leadership. But again, that was one of the recommendations that we are really considering highlighting in the mental health policy that we are in the process of developing. But also just to go back to the conversation around suicide among disciplined forces. Of note is that the issue of suicide and burnout, when you look at the disciplined forces, it's actually up to 4 times higher compared to the general population. And this is just a global reflection, not necessarily unique for the local Kenyan context. But what we should bear in mind is that suicide is as a result.
Sorry for cutting you short. Let's get to the call. Good morning. Morning, if you can hear me. Good morning, Daniel. Okay, we lost him.
Right, so suicide is as a result of an underlying mental illness. So efforts should just be put towards identifying these illnesses. And as I mentioned earlier, start from the top, cascade this information to the junior-most officers. Again, create avenues where these people can seek help without feeling stigmatized. And on our end, I'm really happy to report that within the Kenya Prison Service, we have mental health committees within the station levels. And the committee membership is comprised of religious leaders, the welfare officers, representation from the health facilities, as well as the officer in charge, to just get to have that conversation and understand that at times an officer will miss even work, not because of discipline cases, but as a result of an underlying mental illness. And from that committee, again, they're able to be linked to the necessary health care.
All right, there's some messages here. There's greetings for Afande Johnny, KWS. He's saying the greetings are coming from Turkana, and he's happy that Turkana County is being represented. Now, there's one here. He says, good morning. Where do you put the watchmen? The only difference is that we are not armed, but still undertake more or less the same training path. Secondly, why is it always men in service? It's long since we heard of a lady going mental. By the way, where do we place the watchman? We are amekuja kuulizia, and his name is Oscar from Gigiri, UN Gigiri. So where do we place the watchman?
They are under private security.
I'm being told to take this call before you get to answer that. Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear us? Good morning.
I think we've lost him.
Okay. We seem to have lost him.
Yeah. Watchmen fall under private security, and they have their organization. But we collaborate. We work with them, because when we are doing patrols, of course, we link up, we talk. We liaise on issues of security, and sometimes we share some information together. So when we are doing debriefing or briefing, sometimes we do it together. So we may not be able to do all that the police does for their people, but we at least are able to reach out to them. Yeah. So in terms of private security, there is a way that we relate.
Okay.
And then I wanted to address 2 issues that came up. The issue of chain of command.
Yes.
And we in police, in National Police Service, we have an opportunity. We have trained counseling to the level where you have the so-called peer counseling level, where your colleague, your peer, can reach out to you.
We have a caller. Sorry for cutting
All right.
short. Charles, good morning. Good morning, Charles, if you can hear me.
Good morning.
Go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes, Charles.
Go ahead, Charles, we can hear you. Okay, Charles, ni kama hatupati.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on.
Yeah, the peer counseling is where your colleague, age mate, rank mate, you are able to interact, to talk about issues that come up. And then you have somebody who will just observe as a friend and observe and realize there is something wrong that is going on with you. Then he will approach you. There is that level. There is a level where a station commander has been trained to observe his officers, their behavior. And we have also an opportunity for uniformed counselors and civilian counselors in National Police. So when you come to me, as the director, when I get any issue, I will ask, are you comfortable being counseled by a uniformed or a civilian? So you have the right to choose. We have that opportunity. Sometimes officers say, no, I want to be counseled by a uniformed officer because the issues I want to share are very touching. Or I want a civilian because I want this and that. So basically we have that opportunity. And it's coming up. I think it's because most of them have not realized that we have brought in that bit. But it's now working very well for our officers. And about chain of command, again, in terms of counseling, we have said there is no chain of command. Please, if you have a problem, you can come direct to the director. No problem. Come to where I am. You are a constable, you are crying. The other day I had an officer who came to my office with the kids, carrying his kids, and because the wife had run away, and he told me, sir, nifanye nini? We had to sit down, nimsaidie mtoto moja kushika. Then we started conversing and we solved the problem. It depends on who you want to see, how you want to solve the problem, and it goes like that. So basically we have opened up for National Police Service so that it doesn't look that difficult to access services.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's someone who had raised a concern on why is it that when it comes to, when we're talking about cases of suicide, of mental disorders here and there, it's mainly on the men in uniform and not the ladies. Maybe you can take that, Mbui.
Yeah, thank you. I think mostly men are perceived to be strong, so they don't talk, they don't share. So they don't unpack things that they're going through. But for the women, you know, they talk in their various informal meetings, chamas, where they gather. But I think most men, when it now takes toll on them, they are not now able to cope. That's why we are talking about talking as therapeutic. And I would say that it's important that now going forward, we are able to, when we feel like we are compressed, we should go to a professional counselor and seek help. It's good to talk.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good to talk.
Yeah.
Indeed. You know, all these efforts that we have talked about require funds, but the question here is, of course, the funds have been there, but has whatever that has been allocated been enough, and what needs to be done to ensure that these efforts are effective enough and that officers are getting the right access to mental health awareness programs? Let me start with you, Amos.
Before even he gets to answer that, we have someone from Taita Taveta. John, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Fine, thank you. You can go ahead and give us your question or comment.
My name is John from Taveta.
Yes.
And I'm so happy in the program that you are the first doing.
Yes.
We have we are seeing people that uniform. Let them like unapoti wanakuja zao na wakumbana nyumbani sana familia zao. Na unakuta kwamba kuenda hapo kazi ya family na watu nyumbani wanakuwa kama mtu hata wakiona nafasi kwa wale fedha. Hata sometimes when we enjoy, we have good time with your family. I think maybe our kubwa wao sasa maybe kwenda nyumbani ama kwenda kusaidia familia zao, wanakuta kuna mzuri, wanaendelea muda, wanaenda wanaona familia zao, wanarudi wakiwa salama. I think we need to have some reforms whereby we can do along with who are married. We have to time with their family, we have that bond. Na
daktari ambao amekuwa sehemu ambao very active.
Yeah.
And anakuta kwamba hawezi kuwa na familia yake. And hivi kama baba ame na unakuta kwamba mwingine kuko na hisia. And that's why we market.
All right, thank you so much, John.
Yeah.
Maybe before we get to answer John's question, you can...
Yeah, I was, my question, we'll revisit that. But my question was about the funding. Is it enough and what needs to be done?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for that good question. It is true that this program needs funding, and it is true that we have inadequate funding in these programs, especially to some of our organizations. Some of our organizations are well funded, having some stakeholders from probably outside. And recently we had a meeting in our organization that we want to benchmark with our brothers, the KWS.
Yes.
Because they have some stakeholders who are funding their wellness program. But with the little we have, in fact, we are doing all that we can to see that our officers are helped, are assisted. But again, there's much that we need to do in terms of getting funds to now assist them fully. Yes.
Dr. Makoha, the caller that we just had talked about reforms surrounding or revolving around being given permission to go to have a time with their families, especially for officers who are living in far-flung, who are working in far-flung areas.
Yeah, we do that. We do that depending on the operational capability of the numbers that we have in the operation area. For example, in far-flung areas, if you are working there, instead of being given 7 days, you are given 14. But double more over and above what the rest of the colleagues are given. Because you stay for long, sometimes you are given a whole month, and that's not a leave. It is pass leave or off. That's what in the other language.
That is away from the normal
away from
leave
the
on
normal
contract.
leave, yes. If you get that permission, you are not restricted to 7 days, because we know that you have been there for 3 months or 4 months, you have not visited your family. So you go and make up some of the things that you did not do. And besides that, a part of our training is endurance, yeah? And you can endure in that area for some time. It is not very difficult. We cannot say that you are denied completely, but at some point you understand yourself, understand the environment, endure. But when you are given the opportunity, you are given for a longer time than the rest of the colleagues. So that one we are doing it. It doesn't look like we are really doing it very well. But from where I sit, I see the officers are being given enough time to visit their families, say hi to them, do what they want to do, then come back. Then after a period of time, you are transferred back home, or in other areas where you can be able to regularly stay with your family. Yeah.
All right, we'll take this final message and then you give us your final remarks. This one, she says, good morning. My question is on KWS. KFS, sorry. I'm a wife to one of your officers, and my question is, how come someone stays in one position for 20 years plus without moving? Eating on the same plate for 20 years. Kenya Forest, mnipandishie tu hata kidogo mtu wangu. He says, she says, Kenya Forest Service, do something good. Mtu asikae in one position for more than 20 years and no improvements. Well, yeah. Kenya KWS?
Thank you very much for that question.
Very briefly, so that we finish up.
For us, we have been doing all that we can to see that our officers do not stagnate for long. Like 2 years ago, we had a mass promotion of many officers. And the few probably who have been left out, maybe one like the one that she's mentioning.
Yeah.
But I want to tell and I want to encourage them that there is we have already identified these officers, and actually there is there's a committee in place that is working out to see that officers from 90s going down 2000 and going down to 90s to 80s, late 80s are being promoted.
Okay.
So actually the program is in place.
Okay.
Yes.
We take your final remarks, 30 seconds each. Let me begin with the lady.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate the forum. At least for me, I've picked one or two from other forces, and also it's a forum where now anybody who did not know that we have mental health programs in any of the forces now has learned something from us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vivian. I appreciate this program. And what I wish to inform the entire public is that there is no health without mental health. We need to identify our issues, create meaning in our issues, and then we address positively and we live at peace. Finally, with our people, our colleagues whom we work with, who have acquired their papers, whether diploma, degree, masters, there outside. We did not go there to acquire all these degrees or credentials to be promoted at work. We went to acquire skills and competencies in order to help us in our areas of jurisdiction where we've been deployed.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, Bui.
Yeah, thank you so much. I would really say that I appreciate the conversation, and basically allow me to say that mental health is a holistic approach. We need to address underlying factors like physical health, the need for physical activity, exercise, nutrition, and also mindful thinking. Talk about emotional health, how we understand our stressors and be able to cope. There are things that you cannot change. So we pray that you have the serenity to accept them and grace to change that which you can change. Talk about spiritual wellness. Sometimes we need to understand that we need to address our issues with the sovereign being. Talk about social wellness and social health, the place for family, friends, people who add value to you. Talk about environmental health, whereby the places that you occupy, the places that you visit, they actually add up to you. Talk about occupational health. Do you love what you're doing? Because a place can be toxic simply because you don't appreciate it. And then eventually talk about intellectual wellness, whereby appreciating the need for adding value and continuous improvement of yourself, and eventually you will actually be somewhere.
Hi, thank you so much. Dr. Josephine.
Thank you so much for this, again, this opportunity to just discuss the unique challenges that face officers working within the disciplined forces. And also, it's been a great opportunity to just highlight the existing structures, support structures that are accessible to our officers. But in conclusion, I feel we need actionable strategies to support the mental well-being of disciplined officers.
Thank you so much. Dr. Makoha?
To my fellow officers out there, I want to urge you to share information. Don't die alone. Don't die with it, because a problem shared is a problem half solved. And to the public, I want to ask you to know that you are us and we are you, so please support us in our mental health endeavor to ensure that our disciplined services are well cared for, so that they can give a proper feedback to the society.
Thank you so much. Amos.
Thank you. I have really appreciated this show, and mine is just to talk to our fellow colleagues that for issues concerning mental health, they need to talk about it. Actually, go to a therapist, go to a counselor, go to a trusted friend. And for the matters of chain of command, I think this one does not apply when it comes to illnesses. We want to argue that go straight to the director or to any one of us. We are available to help you. Thank you.
Thank you so very much to each one of you for gracing us with your presence this morning on talking about this very needed conversation. Thank you so much once again. And this is where we get to end the viewpoint and this particular conversation that we've been having, that is mental health awareness in the disciplined forces. Thank you so much for to each and every one of you for tuning in. Remember, Good Morning Kenya does not end here. It gets to continue.
Nilikupeleka kwa pedicure.
Aje sasa?
Nilikupeleka kwa massage.
Wewe.
Namuuliza maswali.
Uliza maswali ya maana mzee.
What are you talking?
Maswali umemaliza.
Ndio wacha ujinga.
Uliza
maswali ambayo iko na adabu. Niko na adabu.
Utanyamaza.
Hasira niko nayo kama mwanaume. Kama mwanaume.
Wakapigana. Hapo nilijua nimeolewa na mwanaume. Asante.
Sina ingine. Na wewe umesema mtu akusi.
Wiki hii kwenye Mkulima tumejikita mizizi hapa Mathare, ambapo tumejitosa katika kilimo cha mboga na pia ufugaji wa mbuzi wa maziwa.
After high school unapata kuna opportunities hapa nje. Enroll kwa colleges, mkitoka bado mnaangaliana hapa nje. So nakumbuka hiyo wakati tukiwa bado si wachanga, rais yule alikuwa wakati huo na alikuwa anahimiza kwamba vijana waweze create opportunities au wenyewe nao serikali itakuja kusupport. So hizo ndio ideas zenye tulika chini tukaona wacha tukue na kitu yetu yenye itatupeleka to the next level badala ya kutegemea saa yote tukililia serikali.
Usikose kujumuika nasi siku ya Jumamosi saa 10:30 upate uhondo kamili.
Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice, we
have to do it twice.
Technology has become a crucial part of our society. Without technological advancements, so much of our everyday lives would be drastically different. As technology develops, it strives to fulfill the changing needs of society. This means that technology exists to help us achieve the things that we wouldn't be able to achieve without it. Take on Tech looks at the advantages and downside of technological innovation in a world that is becoming increasingly dependent on new digital technologies. Every Monday at 10:30.
Uliza maswali ambayo iko na adabu. Niko na adabu.
Utanyamaza.
Hasira niko nayo kama mwanaume. Kama mwanaume.
Wakapigana. Hapo nilijua nimeolewa na mwanaume. Asante.
Sina ingine. Na wewe umesema mtu akusi.
Why are you looking for Dad?
Miss your Duanzi, Miss your Fala.
Get out.
I received a text in the middle of the night.
That girl likes getting herself into danger.
But I thought your motherly instinct spoke last night.
Wait. Let me help you with that.
Where is Alice, by the way?
She went...
You are all useless. Actually, I was waiting for you.
May I know why?
Mambo ya Sharia.
Maybe now we can talk.
Wellness is important in our daily lives.
so that instead of just surviving, we should be thriving.
Ways to prevent a stroke or heart attack is for you to know what conditions you have by regular checkup. People don't know they have hypertension. People don't know they have diabetes.
I was pre-diabetic. I was afraid of getting lifestyle diseases because I come from a family that has lifestyle diseases.
How do you know if your cough is due to a serious condition? We'll have some answers.
Stay well and strive to make every day a healthy day.
Welcome back indeed. If you're just tuning in, you're watching Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike. May we continue with the conversations right here in Good Morning Kenya. Now we talk matters to do with the grievances within the informal settlements in Kenya. And in studio, I'm joined by Eric Ambuche, who is the founder of Slums Outreach Program. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine. My name is Eric Ambuche.
Yes.
Founder Slums Outreach Program.
Yes. Now, when you talk about the grievances within the informal settlements,
yes,
what are we addressing?
These are challenges that are found in those slum setting or informal settings throughout Kenya, and the dynamics are appear to be similar. And I'll basically discuss on those slums that are really known in Kenya.
Yes.
And you know where I come from is the second largest, the Mukuru Kwanjenga.
Yes.
We have Kibera, we have Madare, we have Obunga. But looking at their challenges or dynamics, they're almost similar. Because if the challenges like poor education, infrastructure, starting with health care, some basic commodities like water, you find that there's scarcity. There's scarcity of clean drinking water. So we look at garbage collection, that is environment. We still have those challenges there.
Why do we still have those challenges in this day and age, especially when it comes to access to clean water?
Yeah, you know, it has to start somewhere. And you must know that most of these places, they start as squatters in those barren lands. So when they occupy those places, remember those are, it either belongs to the government or the place belongs to a certain individual. So when those people go there, they go there in the name of squatters. So by the time you come to remove them, they have been there for more than 20 years or even 50. So and because these are population like where I come from, they're like 100 people, 100,000 people. Definitely they require some basic commodities. So you find that with the county the county planning, they don't recognize that area that it belongs to that population. So you find they are lagging behind because they have not been considered in the formal a survey or a plan.
What does it mean when it comes to access to leaders? Because these people, the people living in informal settlements also go to elections and elect their leaders. But is there a problem when it comes to access to these leaders and addressing the issues that they face?
Yeah. When you know, with the ballot paper or elections, it becomes something somehow different. In fact, this brings to a question whereby somebody was saying, before we recognize or gazette an award, we should consider some items. That for like a place where I come from, you find that place has been gazetted as an award, but there are some many basics that are lacking. Like the whole constituency, you'll find that we have like one public girls' school, which is one Embakasi Girls. And I know that applies across the country. So the problem starts, as I told you, the first occupancy, those who invaded the place as the first people. So you find currently, 2 years ago, we have at least tried and gotten other 2 secondary schools. But we used to have one, which is Embakasi Girls. Right now, I think the leadership is trying to take other, to reclaim other parcels so that they can construct schools and hospitals. But the challenge about leaders, most of the leaders will tell you these problems, you found them there, and there's nothing much you can do. You remember we had the national, because the first challenge is about land and housing. Whenever you talk about housing, you must mention land. And in Embakasi South, you'll find that most of the public utilities are in private hands. Even with the initiation of National Land Commission in 2013, every Kenyan thought that land problems is over, lest they know that it had started. Because in a place like Embakasi South, where more than 100 public utilities were grabbed, none of them NLC recovered. The ones that we shared with them, it appeared like their hands were tied. So those are some of the challenges that bring these problems.
So how should the issue of land now be addressed if you are to address this fully? How should it be approached?
I think this is about legal. It has to do more with the legal representation, or we do some. We make those areas. You know, as I said before, those guys invade those areas. Those areas belong to individuals. So they go there, like my case in Mukuru Kwanjenga. We have like 100 acre parcel. And that's the half of that ward. It's almost 2/3 of that ward belongs to. And if you look at the ownership, it reads something different. But 100,000 squatters have been there for more than 50 years. So they are claiming, before they are removed, they be paid. So you can see that we were suggesting that this barren land, before anybody occupies there must be some formalities. Because once those people are there for a year or for 10 years, it becomes very difficult to remove them, because they tell you now, where do we go? And that's the case from where I come from.
When it comes to addressing these issues, are there sustainable programs that maybe you have started that could help in impacting the people within the informal settlement, and especially the youth?
Yeah, with what I do as a CBO, my organization basically is tied on 3 pillars, where the first one is on education, the second one is on climate action, then the third one is on alcohol, drugs and substance abuse. So on education, now that we have challenges, because we have clever children from those areas, but they can't, most of them are unable to access secondary education. That what the government is pushing for 100% transition, there are those challenges. Because these are children who belong to this mamafua, single ladies mamafua. So this, under my organization, we started in 2020. It was in September 2020, with the surge of coronavirus. We started a program, an initiative called Oasis of Hope, which was to cater for the challenges that the youth were going through, because they could not access soap, the sanitary pads, some food, and so forth. So we have tried, and we have linked those children from Mukuru to various well-wishers who have paid school fees for them. And as you can see, I've come even with a few of them. The example is long. I have several of them, and I even appeared in one of your TV stations where I raised that concern that we have children have performed very well, but they cannot go to secondary school. So many people came in handy, and assisted those kids to join secondary school. And so I'm still fighting for more schools from the area I come from. And even recently, it was the start of first term, we recovered, we reclaimed another school in Kwaruben. I think your station aired, Gatoto Primary School, which had been taken as a private, but now it's now a government school. The MCC, we have another one, MCC. You know, where I come from in those 5 wards, in Pipeline, you'll find that there's no any public utility, none. Come to Kware, we only have one school, which is Kware Secondary. You come to Kwanjenga, we have only two secondary schools, 2 primary schools. You come to Embakasi Girls, you come to Imara Daima, we have one, which is Embakasi Girls. You come to Kwaroben, you find there used to be 2, but now there are 3 schools. Out of the population of 350,000 people in Embakasi South, you can imagine. So I know these the challenges, as I said, it starts from first, for those who occupy those places in the first place. And as you can see from Mukuru Kwanjenga, when you go to remove those people, they tell you have been here for 50 years. Where are we going to? So that's where the problem starts. And Nairobi County or those involved in supplying water, they'll tell you that place is not in our plan. It has no sewerage. We cannot put their sewerage system because it's a private land. We cannot construct roads there because those are private parcels. When the word went round that I'll appear on your station, most of the information, most of the messages I got in my inbox were about infrastructure. That tell those guys that we don't have roads. Environment, the garbage, then sewerage system. The 3 dominated the grievances.
Have you talked to the leaders within those areas to address these issues?
I usually share with them. Even on Friday. Remember, we have had the slum fires. And on Friday, when I met the management, top management of Nairobi Disaster Management, on last Friday, they say that on their dashboard, Mukuru Kwanjenga is the one leading as far as a response of fire is concerned. And remember, we have, whenever we have fire, in case it was to burn one structure, it ends up burning 100 structures because we don't have a fire station around. The fire station has to come, the fire engine has to travel from Busia Road, which is around Commercial Enterprise Road there. So by the time it reaches Kwanjenga, those 100 structures have gone down. And you are among those who have been airing those stories about slum fire from Mukuru Kwanjenga. Not too long, there's a mother who lost 3 children in one of the fires at a place called Wape Wape. And it even, through my push, we held several meetings where even the OCPD, the DCC were involved, and we crafted a way of creating feeder roads. Because if you come to those places in Mbaka South, feeder roads is a challenge. That there is a response, yes, the fire engine will come, but they can't access the scene of crime. They cannot.
So the biggest hindrance there is infrastructure. Okay, continue.
The roads there are impassable. The feeder roads are also impassable. They are with all sorts of manner of ease of a banda.
Yeah, let's go back to how good or how well do you access health services within those areas?
Yeah, we have a government. We have several government utilities or health facilities, like especially those that were constructed during the NMS period. If you remember the NMS.
National Nairobi
Metropolitan.
Yes.
It constructed 2 of them in Mukuru, another one in Kwaruben. I think they are doing well, except a few challenges like lack of drugs. But there was a time, that was December last year, it was aired that one station level 4, one facility level 4, you can't access that place. You cannot access it, it's inaccessible because of the poor road, and that's level 4. So it's another challenge that happened with other places.
You know, there's the issue of the government carrying out the affordable housing programs. Is there a way that people within these areas have the knowledge and or just know how to go about accessing these houses?
There have been some information. There have been through the provincial administration. There has been ways. I remember recently, almost 3 weeks ago, there are people who met at the chief's place, and these are people who had been displaced. There's a place called Riara, and now the government was planning to put there affordable housing. So these people, they're around 2,000. They were issued with cards indicating that they will be first beneficiaries to those houses in Road C, the ones that were constructed at the meteorological space. So we assume that they will be the first beneficiaries.
Yes. Still, when addressing these issues, the issues of education come to the fore. But I would want to know, are there, how are you helping the youth access or young children access education, even with the limited facilities?
Yeah, with the limited facilities, I try to reach those organizations or even the Minister of Education to share with them what is happening on the ground. Like last year, November, I did compile certain information and I shared with the CS, Mr. Ogamba. And he did assign a few individuals, education experts within that Embakasi South constituency. And within like 3 days, they shared with him what the findings. Because I had raised some pertinent issues as far as that education had been compromised as far as informal settlement in my area is concerned.
What do you mean compromised?
The standard. The standard that was being offered is not the recommended one. Because I know of certain schools, not just one, where in grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, we have 3 students, 1 student, 2 students, you get. Or even some rooms or classes have been subdivided, whereby you just see this grade 1, this grade 2. In just 10 by 10, then you just use something very like just a cardboard, just to separate it is meant to be one classroom, but because of some scarcity of space, they just decide to reinvent that to subdivide into 2, which is why I'm saying it is compromised.
Now, you know, living in informal settlement, mentorship is key, and especially for the younger generation. How are you approaching this aspect, especially to give them that the future is bright, hope?
Yeah, now that I realize that these kids are clever. These kids from our slums, these slums are clever, but due to poverty, I don't want them to drop at level grade 6 or class 8. That's why I came out to raise the alarm that here children who can't access a school, guys, my CBO, my organization has no funds to take these kids to school. The few scholarships that are found by those names, if maybe allow me to, is it good I name them? We have scholarships that are known, the main one being like 5. And you'll find that when those scholarships come out, almost 1,500 parents do apply on behalf of their children. But those will go through are around 300. So the 1,200 remaining, and these are students who have scored around 400 and above marks in the KCPE. So the rest are left to come back and see how they can find other ways. That's the way now I come in and identify them, and I usually work very close with the local administration, the chief's office, to make sure that these kids are here are the kids who have passed very well, but they can't access secondary education. What do we do? Then we raise. That's why I'm here, or I usually visit other
Are there other mentorship programs that you may have aside from education?
Yeah, as I said, my organization is about empowering communities for sustainability. Remember when we had some garbage that had stuck somewhere near Kwanjenga Primary for more than 3 years. I'm the one who raised the issue, and it was addressed to the governor, and it was transferred. And it is through that initiative that the Green Army was born. Because we had several meetings, emergency meetings, as far as the environment is concerned. And that's what gave to the existence of Green Army, which employed 3,000 people. And you can see they never employed for Mukuru alone. It is the whole of Nairobi, which is another way of job creation. Right now, we are working out how we can train. The meeting that I attended last Friday was about how do we train some youngsters in the entire 85 wards of Nairobi as far as fire response is concerned, and even flooding. Even flooding. So I know this is another way of creating job creation.
Would you say that those efforts have changed the perceptions in terms of how people within the slum areas approach matters to do with sanitation, climate change, and things of the sort?
Yeah, it's not an easy task in those informal settlements. Most people, whenever they see a empty space, they think of putting a kibanda there. When my initiative is about, as far as climate change is concerned, is about putting a tree there. So you may move around in Kwanjenga for like a kilometer without seeing a tree. And you can see that we need to breathe oxygen that come from those trees. Even I was suggesting, there was an article, I'm good at article writing because I know how it has changed a lot of things. Not only in Mukuru, even in the entire country. I'm the one who wrote about the riparian. That I have photos here I'll share with you. I wrote about the Ngong River, basing on Ngong River. I even appeared on some TV station. That was November 2023, where we were expecting El Nino, you remember? Then it came in April 2024.
Yeah.
But people it is me who was pushing for that let's move people from out of that river, especially the Stare, the Stare border. People are pushing their soils on that Ngong River so that they can put their structures there. So you can imagine that the type of life in those settings. The same applies to Kibera, whether you go to Kondele, you go to Madare. So I can say that whatever I usually write, it brings some change.
Okay. How can the government work with the people living with these settlement areas to ensure that their grievances are well addressed going forward?
They should invest much in these basics. They should invest much in these basics, and they should not just take this some of what is happening there for granted, because you'll find that they are rationing. You'll find that water, those who deal with water or electricity in those areas, you are told this one is informal, this one has its own section, and that's really deprive those people. So you find, like where I come from, there's no safe electricity. There's no safe electricity in the entire area. So we even had meetings with the Kenya Power, Nairobi Siwa, where we are raising those issues. That how do we, because statistics will tell you that 65% of the slum fires are caused by illegal electricity connections. And so for it to end, for us to have some sanity, it is multifaceted. We must involve those other, you can't do it alone. And as a community leader, I'm always concerned about that. Even yesterday I was in another, I know the one that is creating other village elders. I know, I hope you know what is currently happening about creating several units. Like we have been served by a DCC who is based in Kayole. But in less than a week ago, we are now having our own DCC in Embakasi. So you see, those are some of the things that bring some sanity.
Okay, now, you know, housing is one of the challenges that people within the informal settlements face. But then again, the government is doing the affordable housing programs. How do you see this addressing the issue of housing within informal settlements?
Not per se, not per se, because but if it is it is insisted, if it is insisted clearly, I can see some change. Yesterday I was in Kibera. I saw there are many buildings there, upcoming buildings, and right now I know even if the governments decide to bring those better houses to its people, it will be for the good of those informal settlements. Because somebody like me, I'm of the opinion that it's possible to do away with these so-called slums. And but for some politicians, it is their hunting grounds. And this is something that most Kenyans are not aware of. Whenever there's an electioning period, all politicians go hunting. They pour themselves in those areas.
Yes.
But if they get good houses, as I can see with the plans of the government,
yes,
I think there will be some changes. And people living a good life, it is not easy to lie to them.
Yes.
It is not easy.
Yeah.
They will know their rights, and they will vote in people who can deliver. Still on housing, you will find that in those slums areas, most buildings that are there, you hear building has collapsed. They don't undergo the full checklist as far as NCA, NEMA, and county government. They don't undergo that. So you'll find even right now as I speak, there's a building going on in a riparian area where in case it rains, it will be trouble. So, and when you ask some of those doing construction haphazardly, they'll tell you if you go to the real approvals,
yes,
it will take you years. You go to City Hall for real approvals, it will take you years. That's why they prefer taking a short route.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Eric Kambuche, for making time to come on Good Morning Kenya. At least talk about the issues that people within the informal settlement face. This is where we end this conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Good Morning Kenya since we started up until now. And on behalf of my colleagues, thank you for tuning in. Up next is The Senate. My name is Mike Migwe. Stay with us.
Are you a talented artist? Or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with our music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
Man, so thank you very much, Ulambana, to join. This is the Easter special na tuko hapa glorifying the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords.
Unajua Easter, unajua ni Jesus alikam na akadudaia juu ya sin zetu.
Sasa
nilikupeleka kwa massage.
Wewe
namuuliza maswali.
Uliza maswali ya maana mzee.
What are you talking?
Maswali umemaliza.
Ndio wacha ujinga.
Uliza maswali ambayo iko na adabu.
Niko na adabu.
Utanyamaza.
Asira niko nayo kama mwanaume. Kama mwanaume.
Wakapigana. Hapo nilijua nimeolewa na mwanaume. Asante.
Sina ingine. Na wewe umesema mtu akusi.